What's up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back, brothers. I hope you're having a blessed day. And I hope that you're feeling pretty grateful. And so, let's just talk. I want to just talk to you guys. Have a little chat. The world seems to be trying to beta us up, simp us up, beta us up. And I don't want to talk about all the stuff, kind of the ways that it's baiting us up, because we've talked about that stuff. One thing I think you can keep with you as a maxim or a mental framework is that your brain's always being programmed or reprogrammed. It's always changing. And so with that being the case, whatever you're exposing yourself to constantly, you got to be careful, okay? Come on, man. The media platforms are owned by billion-dollar companies. They're making a lot of money, okay? If someone wanted to put a message to start to condition you methodically, slowly, all it would take is some planning, and then, they've got the money to do it. The music industry, okay? If you see that your life is starting to get off the path, you're experiencing more unhappiness than usual, or you're being ungrateful, something's going on. Something's going on, all right? And you got to look at how you're being programmed every single day. So with that being out of the way, with this video, what I'd like to talk about is how can we combat that. And one of the ways I believe we can, that would help us a lot, and no one really seems to talk about this too much, but we have to look to men of the past that were like warrior spirit, man. Even men now that accomplish great things. I can guarantee you that there are heroes in the past that set an example and like a role model figure for us current men that we can look to. And these days we don't have so many of those men, and we also have to seek them out. So people like Alexander the Great, sometimes I ask myself, I'm like, what would Alexander the Great do when I'm having a tough day? Sometimes I get so soft, man, afraid of conflict. Not afraid, but just, it's so unusual to experience any conflict in your life. You get heated. We've got video games now to experience violence. You're fighting or shooting guns. Dude, imagine doing the real damn thing. That's scary stuff. These guys in the past, warriors, riding in a battle, blessed by God. Mentality so strong. Look at the guys like, the philosophers, the Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius. And one thing I should bring up about Stoicism is that I think Stoicism, some part of its intent, maybe in certain regions back in the day, was to actually calm the fire in the belly. It was to tamper down the thumos, because it was a way for the plebeians to not have to suffer so much. It was a way of thinking that helped you not suffer and accept your lot in life. And what I've realized now is it kind of correlates with the whole notion of you shouldn't have an ego. And I'm all for being stoic in the face of adversity. Okay, controlling your emotions. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. I'm for that stoicism. What I'm not for is the stoicism that tries to get rid of the ego, that tries to tamper the fire within. And I think young men benefit the most from a mix of both. Stoicism with fire in the belly, thumos. I think old men, it probably is better to let the ego go a little bit. I don't mean narcissistic, ego, anger driven. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm more talking about to not let go of your sense of identity. And I believe that you need a sense of identity. You need a feeling of, your place to know, like, not just think that you need no ego at all. It's kind of why I get a little questioning of when people talk about taking mushrooms and becoming enlightened, and the whole getting rid of your ego thing. It's like it's so celebrated. I don't know why. I think it's just like people think it's like leveling up in a sense, and maybe you can avoid suffering. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's one way for the masses to just sort of get really soft. That's one way. And it seems like the men of the past didn't have that sort of willingness to give up their sense of identity. They were leaders. They wanted to lead men. They wanted to leave a legacy. They wanted to stand for something. They had a sense of conviction. And I think that these days, it's almost like you don't see many people convicted or with a vision. They lack conviction in their words or when they speak or in the way that they act. It's like a lot of people, we're faced with a right and wrong situation, moralistic. Oh, okay, for instance, weed. It's like, is weed bad? Okay, well, let's just talk about weed. Is it inherently bad? No. But if you live a life smoking weed, then, what happens to your sense of conviction? Seriously, what happens to your sense of conviction? Inside of you, what are you living for? What are you fueling? And so we like our lives, it's like everyone's this and that, but the conviction in young men to actually like live for something, to seek greatness, to be men again, is just dying. And it's like, yeah, there's all this stuff. Anything goes. What do you stand for? It's not. There's a lot of stuff here that's not going to hurt you. But you got to be wondering, like, man, like, what am I setting myself up for? What am I doing? A big thing I've realized is to not be a conformer or get sucked into conforming to other people's views of you and caring so much. And when I say we're being baited up, like a nice blob of baitiness just spread thick over you. It's like a blanket, a warm blanket. You don't even know, man. So it's so like you're just going through your day. You find yourself, you're scared, you're more timid. You're more anxious. You say that you're anxious. You say you got anxiety. You jump on the meds. Your conviction dies. You don't really stand for nothing, man. And where am I going with this? All right. The conforming, it makes you more susceptible to conform, to care what other people think, and then you just become a consumer. And you become unwise. And you become very unwise. And worrying about what other people think is a miserable thing. And it really just seems to kill your progress. I remember when I got out of high school, I always felt kind of different. I moved to Ohio from Florida, so I didn't have any friends. And I was always separate from the main groups. And then a little bit down the road, my parents died, as many of you know. My mom died from cancer, and my dad died a short time after. I'm pretty sure that I know he had a heart attack, but he overdosed, I believe, because, he broke his leg, and once you get on those meds, man, like, it's tough. So, if you got parents that are on those meds, stay away. Tell them to find something else. A little side note here: if you guys got parents that are struggling with pain, I would recommend something called Kratom. Or if you yourself, I'm not saying to go out and get Kratom. Okay, it's not something that you should fuck around with. But Kratom is a plant, natural, that can help the pain, similar to what some of these medications are doing. Okay, but it's all natural. You can try it. It can sometimes, give you like a euphoric feeling, but if you don't need it, I would use it for pain, okay? Because it can have addictive qualities. People are different, all right? Kratom, Kratom, just so you guys know, if you see your parents struggling. My dad, I think he got really hooked on these drugs, And then when my mom died, soon after, he had 6 kids, and he's like trying to cope with that. So he's like, this is tough. So let me turn to the drugs. I think that's what he did. I heard that he had a heart attack, but he was so young, dude. Like, he should not be having a heart attack. So probably the drugs. Anyway, moving on. After that happened, it was, you've heard my story, man. It's not fun. It's dark. And what I realized is I started worrying about what people think a lot. And I realized immediately, like, I got to get rid of this. Part of my thinking went like this, like, okay, people that, around this time I started, okay, I need to change my life. And we'll get into that, but people that don't want to change their life, people that don't seek the good to be good people, to help other people that don't stand for anything, people that aren't creative, people that are just losers, people that are, I've started lifting, man, like people in the gym, people that, if people aren't out training me, why would I care about what they think? I'm in here, I'm crushing it, dude. Why would I care what someone else thinks when I'm performing some crazy looking neck exercise? No, it's like I had to actually train my mind out of that. Who taught me how to think like this, to be worried about what other people thought? I don't know where it came from. I do not know where it came from. And, dude, like, so realizing that I just stopped, and it shows up now and then, but I just don't care as much about what other people think. And it's been huge. It's very helpful. So, time goes on. I'm 20, 21, moving out, living like broke, nothing, not sure what to do, okay? My parents never really told me that I needed to go to college. They never really told me what I needed to do to make something of myself. They just believed that, God would work it out. And they had faith that, I was smart enough, I could figure it out. And, it's tough, man. I got I'm not sure what to do. So I started working 3 jobs. And, I believe that around this time, I started working a lot of jobs. And I started getting my mind right. But it was around this time where my life officially started to change. And I remember very clearly, I'm not making this up, like it was a night and day difference of clarity, where I was like, okay, my life is complete shit at the moment. I'm still like, okay, I know there's people worse than me, but my own little world had got flipped upside down. I don't know what you're going through, but your own world is probably, can be in shambles, or maybe it's looking great. But at this moment, what I had said to myself is, I don't like this. I have to make things better. I remember I moved to a city and I had no friends. Mom and dad, gone. No one cares for me. No one's calling me up. No one's asking me, how are you doing? This is lonely. This is uncomfortable. And I realized that, man, like the whole time I've been avoiding this, is that I've got to take complete responsibility for how I feel. I gotta be able to do whatever it takes to make this situation better. I've got to be the oldest brother for 6 siblings. I've got to help them. I've got to take up the cross, and I've got to pick up from where my parents left. And that was that was the day. I remember, like, I just made a decision I was going to seize any opportunity that's come my way. I started to do that. And I'm not saying like I became some superhero, man. Like, I'm not saying I got super confident all of a sudden. No. But I remember being willing, to like, okay, when something scares me, I'm not just going to like turn down so fast. I'm going to maybe jump on it. I'm going to take some courage. I'm going to try it. And that led me to by opening up my mindset, sort of pointing it in a different direction. Now the opportunities were there. Like I must have reset my RAS or something, the reticular activation system, to now find opportunities. And then I just started experimenting and with work, with different things, you know. And it was also another thing to be like patient and to realize, you know, this is life. This is life, man. And I'm fully responsible. I have to take control. I can't be getting angry. And I realized at that moment too, I got really grateful. And that changed everything, man. Like that great gratitude fueled me. Because I realized like, okay, I mean, this is pretty, you know, I don't know what to do here, but at least I got this. And at least I got this. And at least I had my parents until I was like 19. You know, what about my younger siblings, you know? And which they're all doing great now, but what about them? You know, I couldn't imagine losing my mom at 15 in the middle of like that, man. So I started picking up my gratitude antenna was just tuned for the right stuff. It seemed like, and it made my life better. And so I guess while I'm telling you this story is you got to make a decision. You know, you've got to make a decision to overcome and to stick with it until it gets better. It's like when I made that decision that day to take responsibility and make my life better, to get out of the dark, it was like, okay, I'm not just going to burn out. It was like a vision now. It was like, it's going to get better, and I'm just going to stay in there until it does. And I'm going to do it whatever, man. Like, and, you know, things are a lot better. Things are, I would have never imagined this. And I hope that a lot of you guys can benefit from the stuff that I've learned along the way. And, you know, like I'm saying, just today's the day, man. And you can't let the world get you ungrateful and like bitter and resentment and checking out. And then I see a lot of guys check out and they get bitter and then they just like start a war with someone. Not someone or something, you know. They start hating massively on something, or they hate on veganism, or they hate on carnivore, or they, you know, it's just like, come on, man. What's important? You got to pick your battles wisely, and you also got to learn to be very patient and go slow. Go fast. Going slow helps you go fast. But it helps you enjoy the time and not be like a miserable fuck the whole way, the whole journey. And, you know, I think a lot of people need to see that, is especially a lot of guys that live at home with their parents, is like, you know, your mom and dad, they love you, right? Most of your mom and dads, they love you, and they probably yell at you, and you probably yell back at them. You got to stop doing that. Eventually, when you move out, like, they're going to start showing you more respect. If you're past the age of like 20, man, you're still at home with your parents. Could you imagine having a 20-year-old boy, he's like coming in the sheets, you know, he's jerking off, like, you know, eating all the food in the house? That shit gets annoying, dude. Like, get out. And I know some of you are in a position to get out, but it should be a goal to create your own life and stop just, you know, no wonder your parents are being disrespectful. And I'm telling you, the relationship grows immensely. I've seen it with friends, immensely, when you get out of your house, when you move out. So, that's, you know, that's huge. To not be careful what you listen to, be careful what you're exposed to. Remember, the mind's being programmed, man. Okay? Make a decision today to overcome the inner beta. Fight the inner beta, okay? The inner bitch that wants you to just like complain, and it's like, oh, I'm tired. No, man. Figure out where you kind of want to go, and then go uber small. Little steps you can take. I guarantee you, like, things change. I don't know, man. Don't do too many new trends, okay? Do simple, basic habits one day at a time, and then I'm telling you, your life starts to change. It gives you this edge when you can consistently go, man. It gives your life meaning. It gives yourself purpose, and you keep experimenting and get out of the damn, like a lot of our lives are so easy. God, man, their lives are so easy. It's the lack of challenge that makes them suck. So you got to shake your life up if you're unhappy, man. All right? You got to do something else. Embrace the challenge. Stop running from it. Watch how you're getting soft. Watch how you're letting the world affect you, because it is, man. It's getting worse. I'm telling you it's getting worse because you need to be strong now. You need to be training, okay? You need to be like watching who you're hanging around with. You need to be watching what you're exposing yourself to. You need to look to the great men. I'm going to leave you a podcast link down below. It's of Arnold, and he's talking about his life with Tim Ferriss. I mean, Arnold had a mindset you don't find. It's a rare mindset among people these days. One of the greats. Look to some of the men of the past. Look at pictures of these warriors. Get your mind right, okay? And I love you, bros, and thanks for listening. Let me know if you need anything. If you got anything you're struggling with, anything you're dealing with, I'll read the comments, okay? I don't have time to respond to all of them. All right? I'll talk to you soon, guys. Peace.